happy Friday to my friends and colleagues in the retail industry. I thought it'd be a great idea if I got together with my colleagues at IBM to talk about retail and what we're seeing and where we're going. I'm Dawn Goulbourn, a lead account partner at IBM, and I'm here with Dan Gorham.
Hey everybody, this is Dan. I'm the co-lead of the fashion practice within IBM.
And Lance Tyson.
Hi, I'm a senior leader in our supply chain practice.
And Bill Gillespie.
Hello everyone, Bill Gillespie here. I'm the grocery guy at IBM and lead our grocery industry.
So one of the things I wanted to talk about with you is as we're seeing, our communities reopen and our customers coming back in and heading back into the stores, do you see the areas of focus shifting for our retail customers or retail clients between what they were focused on in March versus where they're looking to go into June? So I'm going to start off with you, Bill. I want to see how the essential retailers, such as grocery, are shifting their focus from kind of the March craziness and survival moving forward into June and looking forward.
Thanks, Don. So within grocery, a couple different trends that we see right now. First one is how do you keep the employees fresh? There's a lot of stressed and tired employees out there, especially within the stores. The last 3 months has been very crazy. So how do we keep the employees fresh, get them some time off, let them settle down a little bit, but then keep an engaged workforce moving forward is one of the big trends that we see out there. The second one is around curbside and delivery. Where's it going to end up? Business is up 400 or 500%. Will it stay there? Will it get more? Will it decrease? We know it's a safe choice. We know customers have also understand now that, hey, this is pretty easy. So where that's going to end up and how much money to invest in curbside delivery is a big question. And the third one is, when is it going to slow down? As restaurants start to open up, we know business is going to shift away from grocery. So we're helping retailers, especially grocery right now, try to figure out when that shift is going to happen when restaurants start to reopen.
Great insight. How are you seeing your clients emerge and try to emerge stronger?
Absolutely, Don. You know, it's really interesting. In kind of the apparel industry, we're seeing that there was immediately a move to cash preservation. So how do you kind of lock down the business, make sure that we had a going concern well into the future? One of the continued themes that we're seeing today is around safety. So with business models needing to adjust, introducing curbside, introducing things like same-day store delivery as new ways to meet the customer where they're at. Customers are a little bit concerned, obviously, about coming back into stores because of the fact that there's these exchanges that happen, and that's how this pandemic spreads. Therefore, we're having to think through and help our clients with ways to adjust their business model to accommodate those customer needs. The second area that I would say is trying to figure out what to do with products. In apparel, seasonality is a big challenge, right? Seasonality, and then there's fashion trends, obviously. And the question is, what do you do with a product that you know either you have to move to full liquidation, sell it at or below cost, or do you actually warehouse those items that you think you could sell in future years that are going to be relevant to that season at that time? So helping a lot of clients understand from a supply chain perspective as well as from a pricing point of view what to do with merchandise. And then lastly, I would say it's how do you reinvigorate with the reopening of stores the customer base to get them back into the store feeling comfortable, as well as employees, right? Because employees are certainly central and integral to our store operations, and making sure that everybody's not only aware of it, but feels confident that they can go back safely.
Yeah, good observation. So, are you seeing any trends that may persist as we emerge now?
So the big thing within grocery right now is to promote or not to promote. So back in March, everyone cut the promotions, cut the advertising, just to focus on keeping the stores full and taking care of the customers. The big decision moving forward right now is what type of promotional schedule do we return to? How deep do we promote? Do we go back to the normal schedule? So a lot of emphasis around that and a lot of analytics to understand what the impact on margin will be. The other big impact on margin is just the rising cost of the different commodities that are out there, whether it's flour, meat, and produce, as there's pressure on the supply chain. So using analytics to understand what the cost of the commodities are to make sure you optimize your price in the store is another key trend.
So Lance, the ability of the supply chain is critical for the survival of all retailers in this last several months. Can you share some of your thoughts where you saw some of the retailers kind of emerge either strong with their agility in supply chain, or even, you know, where some of the retailers were kind of going to be struggling? It was survival mode, how a nimble supply chain kind of helped them kind of go through the rough waters.
Yeah, it's a pretty big shift, right? I think one day you wake up, you have stores, in some cases thousands of stores. Maybe you've got shipments coming from overseas for a spring set. Now you've got to cancel a lot of that inventory, and all of a sudden overnight you're operating like a pure play e-commerce retailer, and that comes with a whole set of challenges. How do you maintain normalcy? How do you make your site look and feel like a store? How do you make sure that you're still able to communicate with customers and still make them feel safe as they buy? I think that's where, as others have alluded to, the onset of curbside and touchless delivery started to come into play. I think we've had, like, through March, there was an 87% increase in BOPUS or curbside or store pickup delivery. We saw companies like Target, Kohl's, Best Buy, and Dick's all sort of rushing out to get those experiences up and running quickly. And they could do that because they had a good handle on what inventory do they own, what can they promise, what do they have available for sale at any given time. And I think when you think through the logistics challenges of it, being able to know, you know, what can I promise to a customer at any given time is critical. How realistic is it that I can fulfill that in a certain amount of time? What do I tell my customers to do once they get to our store? And where do they go? And what do they do once they're in the stall or in the area or in the pickup location? So really having a handle on what inventory can I sell, where is it, and knowing what to do once customers get to the store were critical.
I also think that having a nimble supply chain, so as you shift focus, you know, at the beginning for some of the essential retailers, it's all about safety and safety products and healthcare. Then it shifted to some comfort food. So ice cream was a big seller at one point, so selling out of that, and then flour became a little crazy. So I think just even anticipating, you know, where are you going next? And if you look at some of the quick serve restaurants that now have to have, you know, PPE for all their employees, like how do you leverage your sourcing and supply chain to make sure you're going to be compliant as you need to reopen? So
That's right.
yeah, I think visibility and tight relationships with your sources is really critical. Thanks for the observations.
Thanks, Dawn. I think that it's having non-essential retailers and apparel retailers specifically try to figure out how to change the business model to include an assortment that is more relevant to a broader set of customers. So I think from an apparel perspective, there's going to be a expansion out and trying to figure out if it's partnership based or if in fact that business model change is something inherently they would do themselves. So I think that's the conversation from a green shoots perspective that we're having with clients and things that they're exploring.
So within grocery, the family meal has returned. So a lot of us were forced to have family meals at home every night, but people are more importantly understanding how important it is going forward. You know, once the lockdowns ease up, people have rediscovered baking, people have rediscovered cooking at home again, which bodes well for grocery stores because people will continue to buy more with that trend at the grocery stores versus going to restaurants. And figuring out that equation will become mission critical for the grocery industry.
Yeah, I think I see two things emerging. One, I think, is we've got to reflect current reality, right? If your images online, certainly if you're a fashion retailer, if your images online aren't reflecting sort of the current environment of people staying home and wearing face masks and these kind of stuff, let's just get real with people and make sure that we're reflecting current reality. And then the other thing is, I think there's a huge sense of community happening right now, of folks being closer to their communities than they've ever been before, and in many cases, relying on those communities for just basic sustenance. So if you're a retailer and you're talking about community support and you're talking about a sense of community and you're being real and showing a current sense of reality, I think you're connecting with consumers a lot more right now.
That's really good insight. Thank you for joining me this afternoon. I really kind of like to wrap up a week and just talk about what we're seeing and where we're going, and maybe conversations we can have with our clients.